Discover the untold stories behind the 19 million U.S. military veterans, the backbone of our nation's history and resilience. Are you ready to dive into the vital statistics and impactful narratives of these heroes? I am. And if you are, let's go. But first, as I drink my coffee, welcome to Coffee and Camouflage, by the way. Blackout coffee, brutal awakening is in the cup. I want to say thank you to some veterans first. So let's give them the stage and let's say thank you to some veterans first.
Thank you, veterans. Thank you for quiet mornings, family breakfasts, morning walks, and safe streets. For builders, both of cities and of homes. Thank you for realists, ordinary optimists, coffee shop companies, and boardroom companies. For freedoms, choices, beliefs. Thank you for your oath. Thank you for 2 a.m. night watches, 5 a.m. rock watches, for scrubbing, mopping, and plunging, for papers, plans, and routes, for 6-hour convoys and 6-month deployments. Thank you for following orders, leading your team, and carrying your brothers back home. Thank you, veterans, for sticking to your oath, so that we all can wake up to another quiet morning tomorrow.
Today, we're exploring the demographics, the challenges, and the contributions of the U.S. military veterans. Stick around and learn about their impact and the ongoing efforts to support them. So, I put together some like pictures of veterans here because they come from from everywhere you can think of, all walks of life. They're Americans like everybody else that decided, hey, I want to, put on the uniform and serve my country. So that's awesome. Let's dive into some of these statistics, shall we? So let's start with the basics. As of 2023, there are approximately 19 million U.S. military veterans, making up about 7.6% of the adult population. A lot. While the veteran community is predominantly male, around I think it was 90.2% on the slide, the number of female veterans is around well, it's steadily rising, now at around 9.8%. Age-wise, the largest group of veterans that we have are those 65 and older. Can you believe it? 65 and older, making up about 50% of the veteran population. Interestingly, the age for male veterans is 65, and the average age for a female is 51. Well, I don't know what that really means besides, there are more older men, but, I'm thankful for anyone that we have. And here's when I always heard this when I was going in, but, here's a staggering fact for you. Approximately 42.5 of veterans have actually served in combat. That's around 8.07 million individuals have experienced the front line or a support role. This translates to roughly about 2.42% of the entire US population that has seen combat. This really underscores the significant yet really small group of Americans who've actually faced combat, gone to combat, and done whatever. So it's pretty significant if you think about it. So we're going to delve into the service areas. The majority of, let's say, living veterans served during the Vietnam era, around 6.4 million of them. Gulf War era veterans, including some of those from Operation Desert Storm and Iraqi Freedom or Enduring Freedom post 9/11 conflict, the number reaches to about 7 point, which is pretty crazy to think that there's that many veterans that are walking the streets. So, what do you think about that? You ever just thought about, let me go and thank a veteran? There's a lot of them out there. Although the numbers are dwindling, there are approximately 240,000 World War II veterans still among us, reminding us of their tremendous legacy, which is great. If you ever get a chance to actually go and talk to a World War II veteran, a Korean War veteran, actually sit down and listen to them. They're great. And again, let's not forget about the Korean War veterans, who also form a significant part of our veteran community. They, alongside the Vietnam and Gulf War veterans, represent a critical, well, they represent critical chapters in our military. When it comes to education, veterans are often ahead. They are more likely to have completed higher education compared to the general population. This is reflected in their employment statistics. The unemployment rate for veterans is around 3.5% in 2023, which is typically lower than the national average. When it comes to education, I just like to tell you that a lot of sailors and, you know, soldiers, airmen, and marine, when they get to the E5 level and above, they actually have to go to different types of training to actually promote. So they get a lot of leadership training. And when it comes to being an officer or a senior enlisted, by that time you have to have advanced degrees to actually move up. When I was in, it was highly sought after for majors if they wanted to make lieutenant colonel to have at least a master's degree. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Here comes a nice plug right here. So what's in the cup is Brutal Awakening. If you're interested in ordering through a veteran-owned company, which we're about to talk about, veteran-owned businesses, reach out to Blackout Coffee, use the code CAMO, and get 20% off your order. So we're going to talk about veterans and that make a significant economic impact. Around 2.5 veteran-owned business, 2.5 million veteran-owned businesses are operating right now in the United States, and they generate over, get this, $1 trillion in revenue and employing nearly around 6 million Americans. Think about that. They go from serving their country, and then when they get back, they provide a service to the country, and then they provide another service to their fellow soldiers or just the general public by offering jobs. So if you can, really go ahead and reach out to Blackout Coffee and get yourself some coffee, 20% off. And it's not just about employment. Veterans are often found in leadership positions. Again, they get a lot of leadership training, and they're serving in various industries. Their unique skills and experience make them valuable assets in both the public and private sectors. With all the good, there also has to be some bad, unfortunately. Despite their achievements in education and everything coming back and reintegrating, veterans account for about 11% of the adult homeless population in the United States, which is horrible. Right now, we can bring in, we're going to get political for a second. We can bring in illegals from all over the world, house them in hotels in New York, provide meals, give them, a stipend to spend, whatever. But yet, we still have homeless veterans living on the streets in the United States. That really does need to change. So remember, come November, your vote really does matter. But with a lot of concerted efforts through the Veterans Affairs and other organizations, it's led to a 50% decline in veteran homelessness since 2010. So, meaning we are getting veterans off the streets and we are doing a great job, but we can do more. There's no reason 11% of the homeless population needs to be a veteran. A lot of them really just need to get out and go to mental health places, get the help they need, and actually, get job training through the VA, get rehabilitated. A lot of the PTSD is really bad. So we just need to reach out to the veterans and get stuff done. So let's move on. Wise. So health wise, approximately 30% of veterans have a service connected disability. These range from mental health issues, including PTSD, which I do have, which are the most prevalent, especially among the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. I was actually pretty shocked when I found out the statistic that only around 20% of the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans are actually diagnosed with PTSD. It seems like every one of my friends that I talk to, a lot of my the past people that I talk to, they're all like they have a service connected disability with it. So being that low, it's either they don't want to go talk about it and they don't want to get the help they need, or I don't know. So veterans really do with burn pits and everything else that we've gone through. I mean, I got a 10% disability in Saudi Arabia just from breathing the air. So because they burn all their trash and everything else, and it's pretty damn gross. But veterans face a higher risk of a lot of chronic conditions that they get through service connected stuff like heart disease, diabetes, because believe it or not, the food that we get cooked isn't the best all the time. And when you're on deployment or you're actually a junior enlisted and you go to the defense dining facility, DFAC, you really have to eat what's there unless you go out and you buy food and or you go out to eat, which isn't the greatest either. So a lot of that is linked. And when you talk about a lot of other diseases, when I was in the Navy, when they did this thing they called pump and dump, where they pumped the water in and they dumped all the bad water out. Sometimes the water that you drank got a little bit mixed and wasn't always the greatest. But the VA does do an all right job with comprehensive health care, which is crucial in helping these individuals get their ongoing health issues covered. I do go to the VA. It's not too bad here in Lawrence, Kansas, which is great. But the VA does operate the largest healthcare system, well, one of the largest healthcare systems in the world, uh, having to like service over 9 million veterans each year. So just doing that is a feat in itself. So there are going to be backlogs. There are going to be other stuff that happen. One of the greatest things that you could do to help is if you're a nurse or you're a doctor or anything in the medical field, apply to the VA, help some veterans out. A lot of the positions they have in the VA are open, and they do pay good money to bring people in. So if you're looking for a job or you just want to help out, you want to help veterans, please consider looking at the Department of Veterans Affairs and the healthcare system. That would so great, especially in the mental health and rehabilitation services and supporting the homeless veterans. If you're a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever ologist, and it works with mental health, please consider reaching out to the VA and getting in there to help people out. Licensed clinical social workers would be great too. They also have this thing. A lot of veterans really don't think about it when they're in, but we do a lot of tech stuff. So we work with a lot of computers, and normally in the army it's called S6, the people that work with our communications. Normally the S6 isn't always around whenever we need something done. So we learn how to use the computer, we learn how to troubleshoot and stuff. The VA has this initiative called Vets in Tech. It helps veterans transition into careers in technology. So if you're a veteran and you want to look at that, contact a VA rep. Look at the vocational rehabilitation and education, the VRNE. If you have service connected disabilities and you need extra job training or whatever, look up VRNE's chapter 31, I think it is. It's a great tool that could probably help you out. The VA also does, extensive education through the GI Bill. If you have the GI Bill 30, yeah, the Montgomery GI Bill 30, you get a lot of your stuff done. If you're in, let's see, if post 9/11 GI Bill, super awesome. Just make sure you use your GI Bill when you have it to get the education that you need. And remember, if you want to, this is for all the service members, in case you don't know this. If you want to transfer your post 9/11 GI Bill to your family, your children, and everything, you need to have at least 4 years remaining on your contract to do that. So if you have to re-enlist to do it, or if you have to extend longer than you want to, and you want to give everybody um, a portion of it, start early, at least 4 years before you get out, or allot at least $1 to your spouse. If you allot $1 to your spouse, you'll be able to move the money any which way you need to in the long run. So it's either of those. Go talk to your education office about it. Hopefully that helps if you've never heard that before. So we'll talk. I don't have a slide for this one. So we'll talk about military families and their unique challenges. One of the biggest things that my family had to endure, and everything, well, everybody's family has to endure, is the frequent relocations. When I was a kid, we moved every 3 years, right? When I got into the Navy, I moved every 3 years. When I joined the Army, I moved every 2 to 3 years. So, not having a certain place to call home really hits you sometimes. So they do a lot of frequent separate like relocations. They also separate during deployments. That really sucks. We have hardship tours to where a service member, some point in their career, has to go off for a year to a different area. So support networks, organizations, if you ever can, just reach out and be like, hey, I want to help out the military community. Think about volunteering and help fostering the community, which would be great. I thought this was super interesting. It really doesn't have anything to do with this, but there are over 3,500 service members, 3,500 service members who have received the Medal of Honor. That's pretty cool. Since 1861. And you want to know something? This is another cool fact. Uh, the U.S. Congress thought that the invasion of Japan was going to be the biggest bloodbath in history, so they made up thousands of Purple Hearts. And since we didn't invade Japan, they actually now give those Purple Hearts out to anyone in the future. So a lot of those Purple Hearts these soldiers are getting nowadays are the ones that they thought that were going to be needed for the invasion of Iraq. Or, I'm sorry, of Japan. So let's go back to this real quick. I think I had one more slide. No, that was the like and subscribe slide. So I guess I really didn't need that one. I hope you enjoyed this. I just wanted to go over some statistics about being a veteran, thanking the veterans at their very beginning. So again, if you're liking it, tell your friends and family. Join up. I plan on going live and talking to veterans here pretty soon. I wanted to do it today. I didn't. So yeah, if you like the videos, again, like and subscribe. Tell your friends and family. Let's spread the word. And I do have an affiliate sponsor, and I would like to put it up on here. And look at that. So Blackout Coffee. If you go to blackoutcoffee.com, use the promo code CAMO. You get 20% off. I've reached out to Tunnel to Towers to see if I can do something with them. And yeah, please support Tunnel to Towers. They're a great organization, the Wounded Warrior Project. Again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Lawrence out.